Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of this May 21st, 2011 shenanigans. Yeah, I would say you're a lunatic, Irvin Clark. Um, and witness of the truth, you're not in the marketplace, dude. You're on YouTube. And your videos have like a couple hundred views. They've been up for months. You're not spreading anything to anybody. Except for people like me, because I just can't get enough of this May 21st, 2011 shenanigans. It's very exciting. I've never been a part of a false prophecy before. I've never actually got to see one come to pass. I'm kind of young. The last time that one happened, I believe, was, well, campings in '94. But to his credit, he did have the question mark, and he did mention in his book that 2011 could be the end. So I'm not going to count that as a full false prophecy. I like Hal Lindsey, though. Uh, he tucked and run after 1988 because, one of his many false prophecies, he's predicting the world like 7 times, and obviously none of it's come to pass, and he's still at it, begging for handouts on his Hal Lindsey report, which is funny. No question about it. Um, so yes, we're almost there, and camping is definitely almost there because he's 89 years old. He's gonna get raptured pretty soon. One way or the other, whether it's in his sleep or from a heart attack, he's gonna get raptured real soon. Which is funny because that word's actually not even in the Bible. It's a man-made event. It's so recently man-made that it's right there with Mormonism as far as ludicrous religious beliefs. I just want to make a point before I continue. I'm not an atheist, and obviously I'm not a Bible-believing Christian. I do believe in a God. Um, I like to live my life on Christian principles. I was raised in a Christian family. Um, Welcome back. Part two. Time to move on to my boy, Harold Camping. I like this guy. I'm really big into Christian theology, studying the history of it, and one thing I really like to study is end times prophecies and televangelists and the false prophets of our day, and end of the world, end of the talk of the end of the world, all different forms, all different religions. Then one night, late 2007, I was driving home using the seek button. I landed on family radio. I heard a weird old man spewing Bible verses, and that alone was enough to make me stop and listen, because anytime you got a weird old guy talking about the Bible, it turns out funny. No question about it. And then he did something that I thought was not allowed to be done anymore, or, not, you wouldn't expect anybody to go as far as to actually do it. He gave a date. He set a date. Now, I mean, didn't this guy learn anything from Hal Lindsey? Come on. Hal Lindsey, I think I talked about him in the last video. How many dates can you set? And people still follow this guy. Like Hal Lindsey's still credible in some sense, if he ever was. Now he's just as credible. I don't know. If hell exists, I'm sure Hal Lindsey is gonna be like the gatekeeper at the door. Once he gets in there, he's gonna get a big promotion. Um, so we have Harold Camping. I stumbled on him. He gave a date. I laughed. I I had to laugh. It's hilarious. So I checked him out. Turns out, obviously, we all know about 1994, this question mark. And I love that video on here. I think that's Louis Theroux interviewing him. And if you notice, he's not as weird in that video as he is now. Even if you watch Family Radio and you check out his old Bible sermons, he doesn't sound as weird. Now listen to Family Radio. I think I said watch. If you listen to the radio and they replay his old stuff, he's not as weird when he was younger. Younger meaning 70s and not almost 90. So yeah, the guy is obviously off his rocker now. But when you listen to his old sermons, he is a little less kooky. And I know it has to do with his age. as he gets older, he's fearing death more and more, so much to the point where it's do or die time. And I think that's why it has literally do or die time. I think that has a lot to do with his certainty of the prediction. He's 89 years old. He is almost there. There's no question about it. He's almost there. He's about done on this planet. His time on this planet is very short numbered. He's on his way out. Whether his prediction comes to pass or not, he's almost gone. So, what I'm going to discuss now is what I think happens to Harold Camping after May 21st. Barring, of course, that Harold hasn't been right all along. What are the chances of that happening? So, number one, he's going to run and hide. Or hide and pretend that he got raptured. And maybe he's the only person that got raptured. That's a chance. He could run and hide. Two, he could go back to the drawing board, like William Miller did back in 1843. Now, like I said, he's 89 years old. If he wants to see it, he better make it quick, because he could be out in a twinkling of an eye. So yeah, he could hide. He could go to the drawing board, or no one's talking about this, but I've followed Camping quite close for the last 3 years. One thing he has said over and over again, and there's some ways he can't get out of it, some ways he can. He said that of all the people, all the souls that are going to get raptured, there's going to be about 200 million. And that includes 200 million people all throughout history. So what he could do on May 21st, he could say that the 200 million were raptured, but their souls came out of the ground. Maybe that nobody alive was good enough to make the cut. If that makes any sense. That's one way he could get out of it. But at the same time, he did say there's going to be a huge earthquake everyone's going to see. Jesus is going to land on the Mount of Olives. Or something like that. Some weird, like he's just going to appear. What time zone is this going to occur into? That's what I wanted to ask. I actually got on Family Radio one time. I called him in. I said, yeah, Mr. Camping, I have a two-part question. My first question is, what is a prophet? And he answered the question, and then they hung up on me. I think because they knew what I was going to ask next. I was going to say, well, by definition, aren't you a prophet then? Because you've been revealed information. But he cut me off. He knew what was coming, bastard. But yeah, he could climb out of it and say that the 200 million are sucked out of the ground. If he does that, then we have to wait the next 7 months to see if the world actually explodes on October 21st, which, or 5 months. 5 months? I don't know. It's late. Yeah, but that could happen. He could do that, and I wouldn't be that surprised. It's possible. Nonetheless, will I make any more videos on here? I don't know. I don't know what the point is. I mean, whose side am I on as far as it's a battle of Bible weirdos versus Bible weirdos. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm right in the middle. Or I'm on my own team. I like to call it Team Rationalist. I'm going to be sad on May 21st, actually, because then I'm not going to be able to follow this. I'm going to have to find some new religious nut to follow. I'm still waiting on Benny Hinn to give another date. I don't think he gave a date yet, but he probably will eventually when his time comes. He'll be speaking in tongues and smacking people in the head.